Arc Raiders just dropped a major update titled Flickering Flames. It brings with it a ton of new additions to the game, from the promise of a new raider deck to new map conditions, a free event pass, a new project, and a bunch of new items. There's so much here to be excited for. So today on Game Rant, let's look at everything new in the Arc Raiders Flickering Flames update. The most major addition with the Flickering Flames update is that of the Cold Snap map condition, layering each of the game's maps in snow aside from Stella Montis, which was already that way. The maps in this game are so beautiful, and adding this puffy white layer of snow across the rolling dunes and over the jagged cliffs makes for some beautiful scenery. And it's clear that they put a lot of effort into making every detail feel blanketed, from the jagged roofs of buildings covered in frost to powdery bushes that shed their snow when you walk through them. But more than just being pretty, the Cold Snap has a tangible effect on gameplay. Most notably, this comes in the form of frostbite, which will begin to damage the player if they stay out in the cold too long. It'll also make it so that your raider warms their hands while they're looting, stopping the process of this looting and forcing them into the warmth of buildings. I think this is a really neat addition to the game, and it did make the matches I played in feel a little bit more somber, as running around and hunting isn't as much of an option. I spent most of my time in buildings or in tunnels trying to stay sheltered, and when I did see players, it was mostly friendly interactions, even in squads, which is a bit of a rarity these days. One minor detail of note that this map condition creates is the constant presence of footprints. On a sandy map, you can typically see where a raider was going. You can track them down and maybe hunt them down. But with the footprints in the snow and the snow present throughout the entirety of every map outside of buildings, you can really use this to your advantage if you're in a fight and you're trying to track down an enemy who you've damaged. Okay, now for my favorite edition of the Flickering Flames update, which is the free stuff. This update brought with it an event similar to the Stella Montis opening event. This event's just called the Flickering Flames, and it allows you to unlock a bunch of free items by earning merits. The main reward being the high-tech hiker skin, which looks perfect in snowy environments and has this really weird arm gadget thing. The event pass also has some candleberries, which are an item that you pick up throughout the world and are needed to progress the project, some free raider tokens, the compass emote which sees you looking at a compass, the sprayed eyes red face style, colors and variants of the high-tech hiker skin, and finally a space wrench which alters your raider tool for the first time in the game. There's also a project with similar functionality to that of the expedition project. This project is part of the event and allows you to unlock merits, raider tokens, and other items by donating items you've found. It's pretty simple, but it brings back some of the fun item hunting that took place with the workbenches and has incentivized me to go back to my pacifist ways, which I think is ultimately a really good thing. Okay, I also thought it would be good to highlight some small additions that we got, ones that you may not have noticed that are fun and additive to the experience. First, you can now download Embark's other game, The Finals, and get a free colorway for the Rider skin. Also, another thing, something that you can see in the project and something that you can craft, are firecrackers. These are pretty much entirely useless. They don't draw the attention of Arc and they don't do any damage, but like the flute, if you find some friendly players, you can toss them around and have a little fun. You can also toss snowballs, which are able to be picked up when you see these little spikes in the ground. They don't do any damage or inflict any cold effect, but they're mostly just there to throw at your teammates and have a little fun. You can also now reset your skill tree without having to worry about the expedition. This is super nice for anyone who wants to respec into Security Breach who might not have. It does cost 152,000 Raider coins, but honestly, for what you get with that, it's pretty nice. Also, speaking of that, if you're ready for the expedition, the window for that will start with this update on Wednesday the 17th of December. The one thing we haven't gotten yet in this Cold Snap update that's planned on coming later is the new Raider deck featuring a skin called Goalie. That deck drops on the 26th, and we've already seen a full version of that skin, being modeled after a hockey goalie. The entirety of the contents of the deck are still yet to be seen, but it should be interesting. There's probably a lesser skin to be unlocked, just like in the starting Raider deck, and I'm sure a ton of players are excited to dig their teeth into it. This is all aided by the fact that a lot of players will be able to immediately unlock a ton of items, as if you've been playing Arc Raiders and you already finished the main Raider deck, you've been building up cred. This update did introduce a max to cred though, capping players out at 800. Regardless, the second this new Raider deck drops, you'll be able to complete a couple of pages with your stashed cred, which will probably give you the basics to the skin and some Raider tokens to spend in the shop. All in all, the best thing I can say about this Flickering Flames update is that it's made me actually feel cold. So much so that while I was playing the game, I went over and grabbed a blanket and lit a candle. The way your character shivers, the tangible effect of the cold, and the visual styles of these changed maps has had me feeling something. And the immersive nature of Arc Raiders continues to prove just how great this game is. So go check out the update, it's really something special, especially considering all the free stuff you're gonna get from it. Okay, well that's all from me, and for more news, features, and reviews, go over to GameRant.com. Thanks for watching.